Hey guys, what's going on? I am Hunter. It is Monday evening, and I'm excited to be casting this game for everybody. It's supposed to be a really good matchup. I've had this matchup recommended to me by actually a couple of different people, and it's supposed to be really sick, so I'm excited to be casting it for everybody. Hope you can enjoy it. Spawning at the 6 o'clock position, we have EG.Grubby. Grubby, of course, a member of the Evil Geniuses clan, very well-known Starcraft 2 pro gamer team. You know, Idra's on EG and Tasteless and some other big names as well. Grubby is actually a Warcraft 3 pro. He played Orc in Warcraft 3 and really well-known for his Warcraft 3 career. He's listed as like top 10 WC3 players. He's a Dutch player as well, from the Netherlands, of course. And yeah, looking forward to see his Protoss play tonight. Grubby's opponent spawning at the 12 o'clock position on Metalopolis. We have Sterling. Sterling is not a known StarCraft player. According to their chat that they were just chatting up a little bit, apparently Sterling is pretty highly ranked on the ladder, but doesn't really have any official recognition. I'm still sure he's a good player, and this should shape up to be a good TVP on Metalopolis. So the first barracks for Sterling going up in, you know, just to the side of his mineral line right here. A slightly unusual placement, but nothing really wrong with it. Not in a position for any, you know, super early rush or anything like that. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what Sterling has in mind for us as he puts down his refinery as well. These guys continue to just chat away here at in the early game. First gateway going up as well for Grubby, of course, a simulator on the way. Now these guys have spawned on Metalopolis, and their spawning locations are the furthest possible spawn, the furthest possible distance rather, by foot, of course. Three very unique spawn possibilities on Metalopolis, and this one isn't really going to be conducive to, you know, rush play, because especially for a Terran player, if you wanted to do some kind of timing attack off of one base, it's kind of difficult to pull off in these spawning locations because your whole army just needs to trek so far to your opponent's base. So a play like a 4-gate strategy is still very viable because, of course, a proxy pylon is going to basically, you know, a proxy pylon, it doesn't matter that you're spawning so far away by foot because, of course, it's a proximity pylon. This probe for Grubby, going to get all that scouting information before it is finally taken out. Oh, is this Marine here, just on the mineral line? Got that final shot in. So, taking a look at the vision of Grubby. He didn't actually spot the tech lab on the barracks, but he saw everything else. Command center now on the way for Sterling as well. Pretty fast expansion. And then for Sterling, he has spotted, yeah, just about everything going on in the Protoss base. Nothing to hide for Grubby just yet. And I suppose, yeah, that SCV must have been taken out just a moment ago, as we do have one Stalker on the field as well. One Zealot, one Stalker. Both of them taking separate paths as they're going to be heading over to Sterling's base. And, yeah, they should... it would be in the best interest of Grubby to head over and spot this natural expansion. I'm sure if he knew that we had a fast expand from our Terran player, Grubby would react differently. But you know what? He's doing a pretty safe play considering the circumstances. He's going to put down a Nexus of his own, and certainly going to keep pace with respect to the economics of the game. SCV heading to the Xel'Naga to his poor demise as this Zealot continues to maintain possession. Actually, both Xel'Nagas as we look on the vision of Grubby. It's very important in any matchup to hang on to these Xel'Nagas as much as possible during the game. Kind of goes without saying. 3 racks and no factory or anything just yet. Just the 3 barracks, 1 reactor, 1 tech lab, combat shield before stim pack. It's pretty interesting in a TVP. That's what Sterling prefers. And a little bit of pressure here from Grubby, but that Zealot does get taken out. And yeah, no real damage done there, but of course the scouting, oftentimes worth it, even if you lose a unit. This SCV for Sterling is not going to make it into the base of Grubby, but once again, Sterling is going to spot the Nexus. still mining off of 2 gas at this stage. 1 robotics facility is down and a 3rd gateway on the way. The SCV was killed by the Starcraft sentry, I believe. Pylon on the low ground as well. Nice to be able to warp in. You got to spread out your pylons, warp in units wherever they are needed. 3rd gateway has arrived, and we have 1 observer on the way. And back at the Terran base, pumping out some marauders. Combat shield upgrade nearly complete, and at long last, we do have a factory. He only has 2 workers on this 2nd gas here. In all likelihood, that is a mistake. And 3rd gas on the way. I want to take a look actually on the income tab. Actually a pretty significant advantage. Grubby here, I guess chrono boosting so many workers out. He's at 40 workers compared to 32 for the Terran player Sterling, as he is now picking up a 3rd base. So Grubby definitely holding an economic advantage here early on. 2 forges on the way as well. Very interesting. You don't usually see this type of play, but I'm sure Grubby going to be chrono boosting out ground weapons and ground armor upgrades, and really will establish an advantage for him, especially as these, especially as we're entering sort of the mid game and the armies grow in size. Those upgrades just become exponentially more significant in battle when your army size becomes larger. This observer as well, you know, setting up, rallying a couple move commands, keeps an eye on everything that's going on. Looks like a probe just got killed, a scouting probe for Grubby to get taken out. This observer really just so worth it. These Protoss map hacks, if you will. A couple stalkers heading out, and back at Grubby's natural. I'm wondering when Grubby's actually going to be looking to take a 3rd base. I mean, he's got the harvester advantage still by about 8 harvesters right now, but as this 3rd base starts to kick in, especially with the orbital command on the way, it's going to be an uphill battle for Grubby if he falls behind on the income tab. These 2 stalkers just pointing a little bit, keeping sorry, not pointing, poking, and you know, keeping Sterling on his toes, making sure that he's got this infantry presence spread out. Taking a look at the production facilities, Sterling currently producing off of 5 barracks, 2 starport, and 1 factory. He's getting a tech lab on the factory, whereas the starports only have reactors on them, so I'm sure he's going to be pumping out lots of medevacs. And then maybe when the time comes, do we have a robotics facility? No, not just yet. I was going to say if the time comes for Colossus, then he'd be you know, pumping out Vikings as well. But it's not going to need them quite yet. So, like I mentioned before, we do have 2 upgrades on the way, ground weapons and ground armor. And these stalkers aren't going to stand a chance. Doesn't even actually waste a stim in that situation. But here we go. Guardian shield going up. A couple of force fields prevent the Marines from retreating. These Zealots making quick work at them, slice and dice. But I think with a simple stim, this infantry ball will be able to get away. But not stimming or anything like that. Another Marine gets picked off, and it looks like Grubby is going to, you know, push his advantage. He has a proxy pylon to warp in, reinforcing units, moving up the ramp to the 3rd base. We got medevacs overhead now, and 2 more bunkers to complement this bunker with 1 Marauder and 2 Marines in it. Force field going down, not doing a whole lot with that particular force field. 1 bunker does get taken out, but those infantry units quickly hop into the next bunker in line. Another bunker completes, and this Guardian Shield definitely soaking up a lot of the damage. This Immortal should be focusing on Marauders. Planetary Fortress as well doing work, and the Immortal gets taken out, and I think Grubby should be pulling back here. And yeah, both players just backing up, licking their wounds. And we actually have lots of upgrades now. The Twilight Council, of course, arrived a little while ago, and we have a Templar Archives as well. And actually researching Psionic Storm, so we are going to see High Templar play. I really like that, because you see the vast majority of Protoss players these days getting Colossus to deal with the Marine Marauder Ball. But I think that we're going to slowly see a shift in favor of, you know, High Templars and Psionic Storm, of course, to deal with the Bio Ball, the Marine Marauder Medevac, of course. Upgrade's nearly complete. We have actually level 2 on the way, so these two forges really going to start to tilt this army in favor of Grubby here, as he's already +1/+1, and soon enough will be +2/+2, whereas Sterling only has +1 infantry attack. Ghosts on the way as well. There is one academy, of course, and just one ghost on the way as of right now. Sensor tower going up. I'm wondering where that is. Sensor towers can just be such a vital structure, but hold that thought. We do have a bit of a drop coming. Now I want to take a look at the vision of Grubby. See it all aware of this? It doesn't look like it. So 4 times 2 is 8 Marauders. Gonna stim up, and they're just gonna focus down the Nexus. And does Grubby have anything to deal with this? These probes might not be enough to deal with these Marauders. It doesn't look like it. The Nexus goes down. That's a pretty big loss. There really wasn't any defenses in position over here at the 4 o'clock base for Grubby. So that's actually a pretty significant loss, as these Marauders taking very little damage just head home. I'm sure that they're happy to trade, you know, 1 or 2 Marauders for... Actually, did he even lose any Marauders there? He lost 1 Marauder there in trade for a Nexus, so that's always a good trade. This is a sensor tower I was talking about before. Another structure that I find to be very underused, and I think that we're going to definitely see more Terran players incorporating sensor towers into their builds. It's just, I mean, look how big that ring is on the minimap for vision. We can actually take a look now at the vision of Sterling. You know, he knows the positioning of the Protoss player, of course, because of that sensor tower. A very nice little play. Another command center on the way. Looks like Sterling's going to be picking up a 4th very shortly, while the 3rd base for Grubby is only, you know, finishing the warp in right now. Nice High Templar just chilling, you know, keeping an eye on all the probes, making sure they're working hard, I guess. Looks like Grubby might be staging a push soon. I mean, he's very mobile with his Protoss forces here. He's going to pick up the gold as well in the army tab. We actually have Grubby in the lead by about 9 or 10 supply now, although that's jumping up as he warps in more and more units. Lots of warp gates. He's got 6 on the high ground in his main, and yeah, it looks like it's just about it. This is, you know, the tension is building here. I'm just keeping an eye on the production tab. We got a nuke on the way. A tactical nuke. Do they still call them tactical nukes? I'm not even sure. Yeah, well, okay, TAC nuke strike. Nice short form there with a ghost. Just kind of curious about that. A Raven in play as well. We're seeing this Terran player Sterling using some, you know, less orthodox units. You don't always see Ravens come into play in TVP, but I mean, there are stalkers on the field, but not nearly enough. It's not like point defense drone is going to be that effective against this unit composition. Point defense drone doesn't affect immortals and blatantly doesn't affect zealots, but hold that thought. Grubby here, he's got to spot the red dot. We do have a nuke on the way, but it doesn't look like it's going to hit anything. Nuke's going to touch up. No. No! Foolish probe. Oh, he should have seen it coming from the sky, but unfortunately for that probe, he did get taken out. He's the only casualty with that nuke, of course. And this command center now just going to float in. I wonder if he's going to do an orbital or a planetary. Planetary, definitely the safer bet. What's it going to be? Not sure yet. But anyway, hold that thought. We looks like we're going to have an engagement soon. Grubby just sort of pushing, and look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this sensor tower here.
Mineral field depleted.
This sensor tower, like, how significant is this? Just knowing almost exactly where your entire enemy army is, virtually at all times. Nice psionic storm there, picking up 4 kills. Ooh, nice feedback as well, as that ghost doesn't stand a chance. These ghosts really building up a lot of energy. Where's another ghost? Can't seem to find one right now. And that's because, look, in this dropship here, we got 4 ghosts in this medevac, and using the Raven to spot the observer as well, although the observer didn't quite get taken out. 2 more nukes on the way as well on the production tab. And I'm really just, I'm kind of enticed and curious about this medevac. We're going to see I think we're going to see a ghost drop. What do we have in the main base of Grubby to defend here? Got a couple of photon cannons, but nothing else really. A scan going down, making sure sort of the coast is clear. And actually shields upgrades on the way because they are 3-3 now, the ground units. And here we go. We've got 4 ghosts in the base, and they've got nukes. We've got 2 nukes ready for these ghosts, but at the same time, we've got a huge engagement here. Force fields going down, preventing these from retreating. Nice feedbacks on so many of those medevacs. But I want to see what happens with these nukes as well. 1 nuke goes down, and a second nuke, devastating. At least 3 gateways getting taken out, along with a whole bunch of pylons. But the infantry for Sterling forced back the Protoss army prevailing here. Takes out the planetary fortress at the gold base. And we have another nuke on the way as well. These 4 ghosts going completely unchecked, doing a lot of damage here. No warp gates are powered right now. And after taking out the gold base, the Protoss army still very large. Lots of Zealots, Archons, Immortals as well. But these there's nothing really to defend from these ghosts. And it looks like the Protoss army, Grubby's army here, going to move in, try to take out this planetary fortress. The SCV is trying quickly to repair it, but with this many Immortals along with the Zealots, the planetary fortress does get taken out. Ghosts still just doing work in the Protoss base, and at this point it looks pretty all in for Grubby. He's really got to just seal the victory here. These Zealots should not be attacking the refineries, leaving the Stalkers and Immortals without any backup. And Grubby's army falls after taking out the gold and another planetary fortress. Grubby now looking to be very far behind, and I mean, he's desperately trying to rebuild his gateways that he's lost. I mean, he's lost so many gateways in his main base, but he's rebuilding them really a little bit late. And unfortunately for Grubby, I mean, this might be too little too late. So many Marines and Marauders from all angles here. Endless dropships, a Raven in play as well. And this is looking pretty dire for our Grubby from Evil Geniuses. I'm not sure what else he can really do in this situation. I really wish Grubby had rebuilt those warp gates much sooner. I'm pretty sure Grubby was almost convinced that, you know, after taking out the gold and just eradicating the Terran army, Grubby might have gotten just a little bit cocky, and he might have thought, yeah, I can just take this game from here. But as a result, I mean, this counterattack just too damn strong. A little bit of a miss micro here from Grubby, and just to sort of, you know, further illustrate what I was saying before, Grubby really could have put down many warp gates, you know, in and out of the way position as fast as he could, because these were just so delayed. Grubby's macro really was slipping. He had over 5,000 minerals and over 1,000 gas, and yeah, it just ended up being costly. I think he might have gotten just a little bit cocky after taking out the gold, thinking, oh man, I can just win right here, I can just take it, but definitely wasn't the case. Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this particular cast. It was a pretty entertaining game, a lot of action. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and look forward to more. All right, take care, guys. Peace out.